I hope that you have a deeper understanding of what MITM is now. I hope that I kind of fleshed it out a bit for y'all. MITM is, someone asked me recently, what is the MITM club? What does it mean? What does MITM stand for? So let's go into what exactly MITM is. For me, MITM started when I was 16 years old. I was listening to Alan Watts. I was watching Elliot Hulls. I was starting to really take care of my fitness. I was really interested in learning about finance. I was just exploring. As I was exploring all of these different aspects of myself, exploring different aspects of who I wanted to be, I came up with an acronym. I actually remember drawing it on one of my books, and I said, I want to be a man in the making. Okay, because I was still a boy, and I realized that there's a stark contrast between boy energy and man energy. I was on a journey to becoming a man, whatever that looked like, whatever that meant. I was creating my own rites of passages. So I wrote down man in the making. But I was also a musician. In fact, this is before, I believe this is the summer after, or the summer of my first solo music project called Lost in Love, or it was called Becoming actually. One of the top tracks on that was called Lost in Love. That project, because of it, I said I'm a musician in the making. I'm still becoming that musician. My mom was really into spiritual stuff and would give me all these different books. And in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm magic in the making. I kept just putting M words in the making because I really saw myself as going through this transformative journey of becoming something bigger than I currently am, becoming something more than I currently am. It was like a personal mantra that I'm constantly on a mission and on a journey to become more than I am. I started up a book club. I started up a book club called Men in the Making, right? It started in college and it shifted to being out of college. The idea was that I wanted to expand my potential. I knew where my shortcomings were. I would constantly look for other people to help me see where I'm weak so I could bolster it, so I can build that part of me up, right? So I started this men's group. We were meeting around these books. I took it from college. From college, I shifted to bringing this men's group to my group of friends. You see, they say that you're the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And I realized, hey, I love my friends. I love my friends. I didn't want to let them go. I didn't want to grow without them. So I had this idea where, hey, as I'm exploring all these books, as I'm going through these courses, as I'm looking at these podcasts, as I'm working to develop myself, I'm inviting all of you guys to be a part of this journey with me. So the more that I'm learning and I'm giving the information straight to you guys, we can at least grow together. A rising tide lifts all ships and all that goodness. I want to be the sum of the 5 people I'm around. I'm hoping that all my friends would think and feel that way. So I started doing the MITM meetups, where once a week, I think we did this for, let's say, about a year, almost 2 years. We would meet up once a week. During this meetup, we always had a check-in. The first, one of the things that I realized that men don't have is a space to actually talk and to connect with each other. So I started the men's meetup, and the first thing that we did was we said, hey, how are you feeling? So many people talk about toxic masculinity. So many folks talk about how men don't talk about their feelings. Well, one of the reasons why we don't is because there is no actual space for us to be able to communicate what we're feeling without being judged, without being condemned, without being called toxic or whatever. So I decided, hey, first thing in this check-in, how are you feeling? Sometimes it's hard for us to describe how we're feeling, so I say, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, and why? So we said, how are you feeling? Scale of 1 to 10, why you're feeling that, and then we said, hey, what's a high of your week and a low of your week? What's something that went amazing this week? What was something that was terrible this week? And then we go into what's something you're grateful for, what's something that you're proud of, what's something you're excited or looking forward to, what's one thing that you learned in the last day, week, or month? That was essentially a check-in, and we would have conversations. In fact, we'd explore books like this one. One second. Okay, so I have the book right here, the first book that we used in the men's meetup group. It's called The Weight of the Superior Man. Now, This book is a really amazing book. It's a spiritual guide to mastering the challenges of women, work, and sexual desires. Now, I think especially in this day and age, it's extremely important for men to master all of those. So what we would do with this book is we would read a chapter a week, and we would explore how to apply the chapter to our lives within that week. Chapter 12 said, be willing to change everything in your life. A man must be prepared to give 100% to his purpose, fulfill his karma or dissolve it, and then let go of that specific form of living. He must be capable of not knowing what to do with his life, entering a period of unknowingness, waiting for a vision or a new form of purpose to emerge. These cycles of strong, specific action, followed by periods of not knowing what the hell is going on, are natural for a man who is shedding layers of karma in his relaxation into the truth. As we went through this chapter, we were focused on what your deepest purpose is. We would talk about that as a group, and we'd explore that as a group. And we come back at the end of the week, and we say, hey, were we able to actually adhere to it? Were we able to apply some of these teachings to our lives? What are some wins that you had? What are some losses that you had? How successful were you? What would you have done differently or would have changed? We did that every single week. When I was going through this book, I actually had some of my college professors that wanted to join the book club because they thought and saw the value in what I was putting together and what I was doing. We fast forward a little bit, and then we're locked down. During the lockdowns, I still kept the men's group going. I still kept it going. And we would meet every week and we would check in, and we actually, I took my tribe through a course that was run by Elliot Hulse. I think it's cost like $1,300 American to join this course. And when I looked at it, I realized Elliot was doing so many of the things that I was doing. Elliot was now going through the books that I was already going through. When I signed up for this course, it looks like someone took all the ideas that I had, all the things that I wanted to build, and they put it in a step-by-step format that was easy to follow, easy to make sense and understand, down to the exact books that I was reading. Almost every single book that Elliot suggested that we go through, all the books that were tied to different challenges for the week, were the same books that I was going through and that I was using for the men's group. So I mean, I was definitely in tuned and tapped into something, all right? But now we fast forward a little bit, and I dissolved the men's group. A bunch of guys were traveling or leaving the country, or the group was getting dispersed. The thing that I was trying to make sure didn't happen was happening anyways. There was nothing for me, nothing I could do to stop it. And we shifted it. You see, a lot of my friends were struggling during the lockdowns. In fact, I was struggling as well. I had a lot of adversity that I had to face during the lockdowns. But for the most part, I was still able to grow my business up to a certain point. And people were asking me, how? How are you doing this? My clients for fitness would ask me, how do you, like, we would talk about fitness more, so we talk about finance more than we would talk about fitness while I'm personal training them to help get their body where I was getting their mind right. And I sat down with 5 folks, they each paid me $50 to go through a financial workshop. I threw together 12 slides to show them everything I learned from when I was 16 and learning to invest with my mentor, Paul, everything I learned from then till now. And I shared it with them. I shared all of it with them to then give them the tools and resources that was necessary to help them get to the next steps and help them get to the next levels. All right? That was the birth of the finance course. I realized one of my soul desires, one of the things that MITM meant for me was millionaire in the making. In fact, if any of my old employers are watching this, you guys probably remember me always saying, I'm gonna make my first million before I'm 30. I'm gonna make my first million before I'm 30. I'm a millionaire in the making. I would always talk about that because that was one of my missions. That was one of my soul goals, because I wanted to have more, to be able to do more and give back more to the people that I love, so I could take care of the people that I love. I thought it's only gonna be possible if I make $1 million or more as quickly as possible. So millionaires in the making was always in the back of my mind. It was a part of the MITM club. So that's what we decided to run with. So right now, we are doing a fitness, finance, and lifestyle. Fitness, muscles in the making. Finance, millionaires in the making. And lifestyle is masters in the making, because you want to master your fitness and finance to live your dream lives. Now, it's one thing to have a message and it's one thing to have a mission, but none of it makes sense unless you're actually reaching people and sharing with people and getting it in front of a broader audience. I've tried YouTubing. I've tried doing YouTube for so many years. In fact, I remember my first videos, I think they were in like 2008 or 2009. They're terrible. They're terrible videos. I always had adversity or challenges when getting my YouTube stuff started. Like, for some reason, I'm grateful that it's not happening anymore, but I've always had problems with tech. In fact, when I was recording this exact video, my SD card that was apparently empty said it's slowing down and just stopped the recording. So I actually shared a lot that didn't even show up in this video. So I decided audio would be the best format to start with. I talk a lot. I don't have to worry about looking good or being on camera. All I have to do is use my voice. So we started the podcast. From the podcast, we built it out to over 100 episodes, well over 100 episodes. We're able to help people every day, 5 a.m., just listening in. The goal was just to build that consistency, just to build a place for people that like to listen, that like the audio format, to come and join the community. But beyond that, it was something that was easy for me to be able to do, to be able to put out, and to actually build that consistency and build that focus. Now, we want to do the same thing with these YouTube videos, but I'm definitely getting sidetracked. Definitely getting sidetracked. So, back on track. MITM Club is whatever you want it to be. I know, it's vague, right? But all it really is M in the making. Whatever it is that you're trying to make in your life, whatever it is you're trying to become in your life, whatever new skills you want to develop, whatever it can literally be, it's whatever you want it to be. Okay, you take that acronym and you turn it into your own driving force. You find your personal why and you turn it into your driving force. Because all it is blank in the making. Heck, it might change to BITM, billionaires in the making, you know? Or RITM, runners in the making. I don't know. But it's the in the making that is the most important aspect of MITM. Just know that this life is a journey. The destination is great, but once you get there, you're gonna be looking for a new destination real soon. I can promise you that. That definitely happened to me. I know that I'll keep on rambling and keep on going, so with that being said, thank you so much for watching and tapping in to this episode of the MITM Club podcast. I hope that you have a deeper understanding of what MITM is now. I hope that I kind of fleshed it out a bit for y'all. MITM is M in the making, insert in the making. And once you've reached it, you get to cross it out and you're millionaire made, you're mentor made, you're master made. You've done it, you've reached it. So that pretty much concludes today's episode. Remember, keep on exploring the 6 pillars, really listen to your internal voice and know who you are, find your why, know that this life is a journey. With that being said, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Give them that creme de la creme whenever I spit that hot shit. Ain't no lose or draw when it's the only option. Till I'm balling like Stockton, I'm locked in. Researching the best stock tips, fuck gossip, unless it makes a profit.